Hi, guys. Welcome back to the Christian Nerds Unite podcast. Today, we're going to talk about serving in your local church or ministry, putting your God-given nerd skills to work. And we're going to get to that right after this. Thanksgiving is here, Christmas is coming, and the new year is just around the corner. If you're like me, then New Year's gets you to start thinking about your goals. The Goal Process 101 ebook is here to help you. Goal Process 101 will walk you through everything from choosing the best goals to making them reality in your life. It helped me start this podcast. Check it out at christiannerdsunite.com/goals. Now, back to the show. Hey, before we get going too far, I just wanted to make a quick comment. You guys obviously know these things are recorded ahead of time, and just a couple of days ago, David Prowse passed away. If you're not familiar with David Prowse, he is the body of Darth Vader in the original Star Wars trilogy. And it's a great loss to the Star Wars community. He lived a good long life, a bodybuilder from England, and did the body of Darth Vader. He actually didn't know that he wasn't going to be the voice of Darth Vader until the movie was released. So it was a bit of a surprise for him. But that is an interesting little tidbit. We're sad to have lost him. Well, I want to get right into the subject today of why you should serve in your local church. So we're going to make some assumptions here. Now, obviously, this is a Christian podcast. We're focused at nerds and geeks and that kind of culture. So we're going to assume a couple of things. The assumption is that you are part of a local church. Now, if you're just checking out this thing called Christianity, if you're a seeker, if you are a nerd and geek and you just thought, well, I'm going to give this a try, I'm going to check it out, I'm going to encourage you to get involved in a local church. So I'll leave that there, and maybe we'll talk about that in another episode. But today I want to talk about those you're already in a local church. Maybe you're not serving, or maybe you're just doing a little bit. So I want to encourage you and to get involved or get more involved. Now I want to hop right in and read some scripture about serving before we get really started. Romans 12:4-8 says, "For just as each of us has one body with many members, and these members do not all have the same function, so in Christ we, though many, form one body, and each member belongs to all the others. We have different gifts according to the grace given to each of us. If your gift is prophesying, then prophesy in accordance with your faith. If it is serving, then serve. If it is teaching, then teach. If it is to encourage, then give encouragement. If it is giving, then give generously. If it is to lead, do it diligently. If it is to show mercy, do it cheerfully." And 1 Peter 4:10 and 11. "Each of you should use whatever gifts you have received to serve others, as faithful stewards of God's grace in its various forms. If anyone speaks, they should do as one who speaks the very words of God. If anyone serves, they should do so with the same strength God provides, so that in all things God may be praised through Jesus Christ. To him be the glory and the power forever and ever. Amen." Well, we're going to talk about two main things. We're going to talk about some reasons that I think you should consider serving in the church. And then a little bit later, we're going to talk about some objections that I have heard people use for saying why they're not serving in the church. So let's go through a few things. First of all, let's start out with why you should serve. There are lots of reasons. I'm just going to list a few of them here. Number one, it's to grow in your relationship with Christ. One of the things you're going to find when you start serving is you're surrounding yourself with other believers. That can encourage you, that can strengthen your walk with Christ. It does a huge service to your spiritual formation, simply being around other believers. Another part is seeing and hearing the gospel lived out. There's something about reading the Word of God that gives power. There's something else about seeing people serve others. It can be life-changing. Loving people. There are countless passages that instruct us as believers to serve one another. You can receive more out of serving emotionally and spiritually than those you're giving to. It becomes part of who you are. It starts building up some of those muscles. A lot of people will talk about, well, I don't know how to pray. Well, my comment there is, well, then you need to pray. If you're not sure how to serve, first thing you need to do is just start serving. It definitely builds up your strength, it builds up your confidence, and it builds up your relationship with Christ. Another thing that it can do is it can help you discover your purpose. People will say, I just don't know what God has for me. I don't know what God wants me to do with my life. Start serving. Okay. Let's start by doing the things that God says to do in the Bible first. And let's see where that leads you. But if you serve, one of the things you'll find a lot of times is you'll see areas that make real sense for you to be involved in. You'll find other areas that you're like, yep, that's not for me. Maybe you go and think, well, you know what? I want to serve with kids, so I'm going to go help the preschoolers. And you go and you serve one Sunday, and after that, you know that you never want to do that again. That would be me. And I've served in churches for years, and I've done just about everything. But primarily I was a worship leader, and I was a worship leader for many years. But being a worship leader meant I got involved in almost every part of the church, all ages, from babies to senior citizens. And I found there are some groups that I enjoyed working with and other groups I didn't. So it will help you discover what is right for you, help you discover your purpose. It can also cause you to be emotionally and spiritually recharged. Like I said earlier, it can give more meaning to your life as a servant of Christ. It's also an opportunity to use your skills and talents for the kingdom. Everyone has incredible skills, talents, abilities. Even you, yes, even you. I know when I said that, you said, oh, I don't have any skills and talents. Yes, you do. There is something that you do better than almost anyone else that you know. Maybe you can't sing better than the worship leader. Maybe you can't preach better than the pastor. But maybe you can draw better than the guy who painted a mural in the kids department. Maybe you can write better than the person who wrote the announcements in the bulletin last week. These are kind of things that you might have skills at. There's tons of things you might have skills at that could be used. Everyone has these kind of skills. But maybe your day job isn't allowing you to use some of these gifts. And this is an opportunity for you to explore and to express those gifts in a way that's creative and that offers something back to the kingdom of God. It's also a form of obedience to Jesus and following his example. Mark 9:35 says, sitting down, Jesus called the 12 and said, anyone who wants to be first must be the very last and the servant of all. Jesus commanded us to serve others. When we volunteer our services, the local church, is strengthened. We're being obedient to what Jesus has called us to do. When you serve, you're also following Jesus' example for us. You're giving of yourself to other people. It's also part of being something bigger than yourself. A lot of times we just want to be a part of something. We're not sure what, and this is an opportunity to check it out. There are thousands of causes and charities that people endorse and give to money and energy to. What better mission is there than to serve in your local church with people you already know and to make a real impact in people's lives? If you buy into the mission of your local church, then get involved. Seeing that mission accomplished can be a life-changing event. People also want to belong. If you say that, I want to get to know people better, I want to be more involved with others, serving in a church, serving on a team in a local church can go a long way to getting that feeling of belonging, feeling more a part of the group, more cared for, served, loved. As you serve and care and love for others, it becomes a group effort. When you join and create an exciting culture, other people want to be a part of it too. So think about that. Let's say, you're on the fence about getting involved. If you got involved, is there someone else that might step up to the plate as well because they see that now you are serving? And they look at you and go, you know what? I have the kind of skills that would help where he's serving too, where she's serving. I can go do that. If they can go do that, I can go do that too. So you're not just serving, you're also encouraging others to become a part. People are looking for meaningful relationships with other people. And doing this, you may find that you're not the only one finding meaningful relationships. You may find there are other people that are finding meaningful relationships with you. Some of these friendships will last forever. I have friends in the first church I served in. They have been my friends now for over 25 years, simply because I served. There's also a certain joy in loving people and giving back. When we love others through serving, that is showing the love of Christ to other people. And it's natural for us to feel a spiritual tingle, an excitement, because you're being Jesus to other people. Some people say the statement that you are the only Jesus some people may ever see. So serving others in a special way, in your unique way, no one else can serve people the way you can serve people. Think about that for a moment. No one can serve people exactly the way you can serve people. God has a place for you to serve. He has a place and He has people for you to serve. And if you're not stepping up to the plate, if you're not serving, who is serving them? We feel joy when we give, when we become a part. That's why givers feel more blessed than the receivers many times. Don't rob yourself of that joy of serving. A good pastor friend of mine says, if you're ever feeling down, if you're ever feeling depressed, if you feel like the weight of the world is on you, go and serve someone else. It can change your world. It can change your outlook. And I'm not talking about, go serve somebody who's, more destitute than you are, and you'll feel better about yourself because you'll realize how bad their lives are. That's not what I'm talking about. Just serve people. And it will change your personal outlook. Not because you're comparing yourself to them, simply because you will feel like you have purpose. You will find that you are capable. You'll find that you have something that isn't going to happen unless you step into the gap and do it. And lastly, as far as I'm concerned, it's fun. It's fun to serve people. I have so much fun when I serve, and primarily right now, I serve on the technical team. I do a lot of video production stuff, at kind of like this audio production, video production, and I love helping create those kind of productions. Whether it's helping write scripts, whether it's actually shooting the videos, whether it's editing it down and making it ready, getting it pushed out to social media or to the projection screens at church. I love being a part of that. It's just fun for me. Sure, there are times where it's stressful. There are times where it's, hey, this has to be done by Sunday. It's 11 p.m. on Saturday night right now, and I still have 3 hours of editing to do. It happens. Trust me, it happens. It's going to happen. You're going to have some stressful situations. But I think you'll find that once it's done, once you see the production, once you see how it affects people, then I think you'll find that it was well worth it. There are definitely positions, like I mentioned earlier, there are positions and tasks that I like better than others. I've got 2 kids. I was great with my own kids. Well, I think I was great with my own kids. You'll have to ask my children to find out. But working with other kids, large groups of children, it's not my thing. Working with a choir, I used to lead choirs. I absolutely loved it. Working with a band, it was fantastic. Working with a film crew, I love it. So there's different positions that I find over the years that I have enjoyed a lot more than others. Serving with a team and helping produce something that's bigger than I am, something I could never do myself, it's just absolutely a joy to do. Now, let's talk about a few things that I hear people say, some objections that people give for not serving, especially in the nerd geek communities. Number one, I'm too shy. Okay, so I'm on a podcast. I'm sitting here. I do video on the podcast. I do audio on the podcast, depending on which one you're listening or watching to. Listening to or watching, you'll see. But I am definitely an introvert. Now you say, but you were a worship leader for 15 years. Yes, I was. And it took everything I had to get through a Sunday morning. And I would go home and I would sleep for 3 hours every week. And that is not an exaggeration. I'm an introvert at heart. I like being around people, small groups, especially my close friends. When I was with a large group, when I was, leading at church, had to shake hands with everyone, say hello. I had to turn it on and be the guy, for 2 or 3 hours every Sunday morning. It exhausted me. Don't get me wrong. I loved doing it, but it definitely exhausted me. I'm shy. If you put me in a large room full of people I don't know, I'm going to go stand in the corner and maybe somebody will come say hi to me sometime. That's who I am. Now, it's a lot easier for me to talk to the camera, talk to the microphone, and sound super confident and uplifting and powerful, but it's not who I am. I am an introvert, and I am that shy person. But I find when I serve, especially when I get to serve in a small group, And especially with a group of people that I know well, that I'm close friends with, the shyness goes away. I become part of something bigger, and I start really enjoying what I do. Now, there's other things. There are other places you can serve. You don't have to serve right there in a big group of people on Sunday morning. You don't have to serve from the stage. You could be in the control booth, hidden away. If you're that kind of shy person, there are lots of places where you may not interact directly with individuals on a Sunday morning, or places you can serve. Get this, places you can serve where you might not even do anything on Sunday mornings. Tons of places you can serve in churches, in your local church, serving Monday through Friday when there's no one there. Serving in your spare time at home in the evenings. There are lots of options. Just be aware. Don't think of serving at church means you have to go up on stage in front of a group of 100 or 1,000 people. There are lots of places to serve. Another objection I hear is, I'm new. I'm a new Christian. I'm new to this church. I'm new to this area. Hey, honestly, that's one of the best times to serve. You'll get to know new people. You'll get to know your church. You'll get to know more about what it's like to be a Christian serving with other people. This is an opportunity to grow in your faith, grow your community of friends, your community of believers. Definitely being new is probably the best time to serve. Another one I hear a lot is, but I don't know how to serve, or they don't really have anything for me. Well, guess what? There is something. Maybe you don't know about it. Maybe they haven't asked for it yet. Maybe they don't even know that they need help with it yet. But you have an opportunity to use your nerd geek skills in creative ways to serve the church. Start with what you're good at. What skills do you already have? Do you do a day job that may have some skills that cross over at the church? Do you have a hobby or something you just love to do in your spare time that might be able to be used for the church? Here's a few ideas. Maybe you're into social media. You know how to set up pages. You know how to use social media. A lot of churches, small and large churches, don't do social media well. They don't know how. They don't know how to post. They don't know how to post well. They don't know what would be interesting to people. If you are the kind of person that knows social media, that can use social media well, that is a great way to serve. And once again, that's an opportunity to serve where you're not serving on Sunday morning. You're not standing up in front of a bunch of people. You're able to serve a lot of times from home in your spare time. Or teach the staff to use social media. Maybe the pastor needs help. The pastor needs to know how to set up an Instagram and use it and what he should post. Hey, if you're an Instagram expert, then, offer to take an hour to help the pastor set up an Instagram account and show him the kind of things he should be posting. Another option might be writing. Maybe you're a writer. Are you creative and you write well? Maybe you could help improve the announcements on Sunday morning. Can you creatively write a way to announce some exciting event? But, usually at your church, even though it could be an exciting event, it sounds super boring because of the way it's written. You could help improve that. You could help write great things. Write scripts for short videos or short sermon starters. There are lots of writing opportunities in churches. The website, maybe you could help write the copy for the website. A lot of churches have poor copy on their website and could really use some help. Maybe you know how to set up a website and you know how to make a website look really good and really clean, and you look at your church website and wonder, who in the world set this up? This is bad. Well, that would probably be the first website I set up. I've learned a lot in the last 20 years. And I think I do pretty well setting up websites now. But, maybe you're the kind of person who can set up websites and you could help your church improve their appearance on the web. Maybe you're good with the computers. You can help fix the computers that are at church. Computers always have some kind of problem going on. Maybe all the computers at the church need to be updated, and you're already an expert. You're A+ certified. You can go in and upgrade the computers, add memory, upgrade Windows. Ugh, I hate upgrading Windows, but anyway, give me a Mac any day. But maybe you're that kind of person. Maybe you're an artist. You're a painter. You draw. Does the bulletin cover need a new graphic? Would it be great to have some artwork in the hallways? Something that speaks to the community, speaks to Christ's divinity, speaks to the life of the church. You could create paintings that would hang there at the church, or in the sanctuary, or in, the worship center, or the kids' room. Like I mentioned earlier, maybe you can paint a mural in the nursery that tells the story of Noah, or the story of Moses. Lots of different artistic things. Maybe you're good with graphics on your computer. There are always sermon graphics that are needed, social media graphics. Tons of things that can happen there that you already have the skills for. You know about video editing or shooting video? Maybe you know how to use a camera really well. A lot of churches, especially right now, I'm recording this in December of 2020, and, the world is live streaming. That is the big thing for 2020. With COVID going on, people needed to learn how to live stream, and they needed to learn fast. Maybe you already know how to do it. Maybe you are the kind of person who streams your video gameplay on Twitch every day or every night at home. Maybe you could help your church set up a live stream so that people that don't feel comfortable going to church yet can still feel engaged and a part of what's happening in their local church. That could be huge. Keep in mind, when I talk about this stuff, I'm going to get on my soapbox here for just a minute. When I talk about this stuff, it sounds technical. I'm doing this little thing. I'm doing this little thing. I'm doing this. I'm doing this. I'm talking to somebody. I'm making an image. I'm helping stream the service. Okay. Yes, you are. But you are impacting people's lives. Think about this. Imagine you help set up the live stream for your church. The live stream runs every week because you're in charge of it, and you know how to make it look good, and you know how to make it sound good, and you can make it so that it works really well. Somebody's new in town. They're looking for a local church. They run into your live stream. They're down. They're seeking. They've never really been to a church before. They want to kind of investigate things. They happen upon your live stream and check it out. This exact thing happened to me recently. It was about a year ago, specifically. This one particular person I'm going to mention, we get this kind of thing regularly, but this particular person was special. I'm going to call him Chris. Chris started watching our live stream. Well, I was moderating our live stream. And what I mean by that is I was actually typing along, commenting along with the sermon as people would say, "Hey, I'm watching from so-and-so." I would say, "Hey, thanks for watching. Hey, praying for you." People would put in prayer requests. That's another option. Moderating a live stream is super valuable. Well, this particular person was local, and I said, "Hey, Chris, great to have you watching. You ever think about coming to the church? Let me know. I always sit in the back. My name's Ricky. Definitely come find me." So 6 months go by. Chris has been watching for 6 months. Never come to our building. One day he shows up. Now, mind you, Chris and I had gotten to know each other through the live stream. We had chatted back and forth during service several times. And I had checked out his Facebook profile, knew what he kind of looked like. All of a sudden, this guy shows up, and it's Chris. And I go, "Are you Chris?" Now, I'll leave Chris's last name out. And he looks at me and goes, "You're Ricky, aren't you?" And I said, "Yes." And he and I are good friends to this day. Why are we good friends? Why is he involved in a local church? Because we set up a live stream. Because we took time to set up some technology that only a few of us even understood how to use. And we made it a point to send this out to people, to create it in such a way that we could help impact people with the gospel, that we could reach people for Christ. So when you're running a camera, when you're, sitting behind a camera running it on Sunday morning, when you're running the soundboard, when you're putting slides up on the screen, you're not just doing some technical skill. You are setting up a situation where people can hear the gospel without distraction, without issues. You are giving them an opportunity to hear the gospel in the way they need to hear it. And you may be impacting someone's life forever. It's more than just pushing buttons and moving sliders and turning cameras. You are helping impact people's lives. Keep that in mind. That's what serving in your local church really means. So, people say they don't know how to serve. I get off my soapbox. Where was I? I said they don't know how, or they don't have anything for me. Well, maybe you don't have all these great skills, but could you stand at the door and say hi to people and point them to where the restroom is and where the kids check-in is? That's a great way to serve. Speaking of kids check-in, maybe it's a computerized system to check in kids, and nobody in the kids area really understands it or wants to understand it, but you understand it because it's all software based and it's all, or web based, and it's, all complicated. And you can help check people in on Sunday mornings. Many areas are willing to teach those that are interested. So just because you don't know how to serve doesn't mean there's not an area that you can't serve in, and doesn't mean there's not an area someone isn't willing to teach you. As a technical director, sometimes I like it when they don't know a whole lot. Technical stuff, if you know how to use a computer, I can teach you how to run the projection system. If you don't know anything about a computer, might have a little problem. But if you already basically know how to use a computer and some word processing software, maybe PowerPoint, I can help you. I can teach you to do something even more complex and spectacular up on our projection system. If you know how to use basic computer functions, I might be able to teach you how to run the lighting system. If you're the kind of person who you have a great eye for color and the look, lighting might be for you. Maybe you've got a great eye for it and you kind of know how to use a computer. I can teach you how to move the lights. I can teach you how to point the lights. I can teach you how to change the colors of the lights. And then you can make something beautiful out of it. Learn a new skill. just take the opportunity to learn some of these things. All else fails, maybe you've got a unique skill or a unique hobby that other people might be interested in. It might be an opportunity to start a small group or ministry based around that skill or that hobby. I know a lot of people will start gaming groups, small groups, gaming with their church. So those are the kind of things that, don't let the excuse be that I don't know how or that there's not a place for me. There definitely is something you can do, and there definitely is something that needs to be done. Sometimes you just have to seek it out. So I hope I've cast a little vision for you on why and how you might start serving in your local church. Or if you're already serving, I hope I've encouraged you to keep going and to expand what you're doing now and to think of it more than just pushing buttons or moving sliders, that you are impacting people with the gospel. You are helping the pastor, helping the worship leader, helping all of the staff reach people with the gospel that may never have heard it, and help them hear it and see it in a way that truly impacts them directly. I hope you heard my heart in this conversation. I know earlier I kind of stepped up on my soapbox, and that happens sometimes when I talk about serving in the church. I want this to be something that you can grab a hold of. Hey, if this impacted you, if this podcast spoke to you in any way, I would love for you to share it with others. Share it with people in your local church. Share it with your nerdy friends that maybe they're not involved and you want them to be. Share it with people that might be interested in helping in some way, but just haven't really figured out how yet. Share it with them. Share it on social media. I would love to see this go out to as many people as possible. Hey, and I would love to hear your comments about this. Send me a message. Let me know what you think. You can find us on Facebook at Christian Nerds Unite. You can also find us on Instagram at the same name. Check out our new website, ChristianNerdsUnite.com. Lots of great information there. Also, you can find all the links to the different services for our podcast, the different listening services. Find us wherever you listen to podcasts, and please review us. Those reviews definitely help other people find our podcast. We would love for you to review the podcast. Always looking for constructive criticism. Send me a message. Let me know what you think of the podcast so far. Before I let you go, I want to pray a quick blessing over you. May the grace of God uphold you, the peace of God surround you, the love of God flow from you, and the strength of God protect and bring you safely through this day. It's been great hanging with you today, and we will see you next week. Blessings.